everybody, it's Nicole Matthews, Chief Experience Officer with Recess by the Henley Company, and we're here again for another edition of our Playground Chatter, where we're going around town talking to all kinds of interesting CEOs and fabulous people about their definition of recess. So I want to welcome you to the interview with Micah Parzen, who is the CEO of the Museum of Man in beautiful Balboa Park. Yes. Talk about having recess right out your front door every single day.
That's one of the best things.
One of the best things, I'm sure. So, Micah, just tell us a little bit about childhood for you. Do you remember school days and when it was time for you to run out the door and play recess?
I do, actually. I have very fond memories of recess because I was a super shy little boy.
Okay.
And I was also a very good athlete. And so recess was a time, along with PE and lunch, when I could play basketball or soccer.
Right.
And sort of, it was really when I felt like I could express myself because I was so quiet in the classroom. So it was I have a lot of fond memories of recess.
Excellent, excellent. So when the door opened and you went running, was it kickball? Was it soccer? Was it the jungle gym? Where did you go?
All the above, but it was probably as you are, I'm a soccer player.
Yes,
or at least
yes, we share that.
So my sport of choice would have been soccer or kickball.
Okay.
But I played a pretty mean dodgeball too.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Okay, so snack time. Let's talk about snack time. You remember snack time in school? Kind of?
Not
Lunchtime?
really.
No?
Yeah, well, lunch certainly.
Okay, so what did lunch involve for you? Little lunchbox or paper bag?
I think it was a lunchbox. I can't tell you what my lunchbox was, and it was probably occasionally the paper bag, or sometimes it was the cafeteria.
Cafeteria. The tray is always kind of fun sometimes too. That's right, exactly. Okay, fast forward to today. Okay. How do you define recess today?
I think it's almost synonymous with decompression. When I think of recess, it's a outlet, it's an escape, it's a way of just putting the million things that you're juggling on an everyday basis on hold just for a brief moment and allowing yourself to go somewhere else and be free. Okay,
perfect. What rules did you learn on the playground that you would bring into your life now? CEO of the Museum of Man.
Gosh.
There's got to be some lessons you learned back as a kid that you transfer into today.
Yeah. I think recess evaporates before you know it.
Yeah.
It goes very quickly.
Very
and you think you've got that 15 minutes. And it seems like, but if you waste time sort of going to the bathroom or getting a drink of water or, you got to get to it and get in the heart of recess because it disappears before you know it if you haven't. How
much recess do you actually benefit from in your life now? I know at this new position, you've been here now just over a year as the CEO and came from a very high-profile law firm. So I know you've had a pretty intense career for the last decade or so. Yeah. So now in your new role, do you find time to carve out for recess? I know you've got 2 small children and a beautiful wife. So what does that look like for you as a family?
I would say recess opportunities are few and far between for me. Even on vacation, it's super hard to just really close down shop, particularly in this new position where it's a 24/7 constant process of problem solving, strategizing, trying to figure out ways to move the museum forward. I think to the extent I have any recess now, it's when I'm interacting with my kids and you have a moment with them when just that magical sort of interaction and you get lost in their giggle or tickle or whatever it is and you are able to escape that. But the problem of iPhones and email and text I think make it really difficult to get to a place of recess.
To fully disconnect, kind of like we did when we left our schoolwork behind and could run out free. We don't have that opportunity anymore because we're so connected now. Why do you think that we as a culture have gotten so far away from recess in our day? I mean, in school we had an assigned time. Now we don't have that as adults. And why do you think we've allowed ourselves to get that far away from recess?
My wife teases me that I suffer from a disease called vergitis, that I always like to be on the verge of finding out about some new grant or fellowship or something, and I think email and text really feed into the disease of vergitis because you know, you send an email or a text and you expect a response right away. Other people expect a response. So I think, and I found this in the practice of law a lot too, that there's not a lot of just sitting and letting things digest, and that, you know, we're in a culture today of action and reaction, and it all happens so quickly that sometimes we forget to just let things sit for a bit and think. And so I think we're just constantly sort of, rather than really taking control of our time, and particularly I think executives really suffer from this. We're so reactive to everything coming at us and all the demands on us that we sort of lose control of our own time, and we're always scrambling to catch up.
Right, absolutely. Now, here at the Museum of Man, this is a wonderful place to experience recess. I mean, this ideally would be kind of the direction of our company, is let us manage your to-do list so that you have time to come enjoy the wonderful experiences here in Balboa Park, and specifically the Museum of Man. What's going on here at the museum currently that would be a wonderful excuse for recess for visitors?
We have a great exhibit that we just brought in. It's called Adventures in Photography, A Century of Images in Archaeology and Anthropology. And it's a very reflective, sort of meditative exhibit where you come in and you are taken on a journey to 6 of the 7 continents around the globe, and you are sort of a mouse in the pocket of these field researchers who have documented these both obscure and very iconic locations during the course of their research. So it's a fun place to just walk through the gallery and just kind of get transported to, again, away from the day-to-day and to a new horizon.
Great. I have a term I call decadent dream. I think it's that thing where you're either out for a jog or you're in your car, just sort of, and it pops into your head. It's the one day I wish, or if only sort of thing that pops into your head. What would you think would be your decadent dream? Is there something? I mean, people in the past have said things like, I want to, you know, have a B&B in Tuscany, or I want to travel the world, or I want to, you know, X, Y, Z. Do you have sort of in your, like, the what if or the one day I wish I could, what would fall into that category for you?
You know, I think I'm a little unusual in that I just took over this position about a year ago, and for me it sort of was my decadent dream. You know, after practicing law for many years and knowing that I wanted something more and not quite knowing what it was, and then really stumbling upon this opportunity, I'm still sort of living the decadent dream, although you know, the day-to-day can consume you and demand sort of opportunities for decompression and recess, which I think at the end of the day help you do your job a lot better. I think you need that space, and you need to carve it out so that you can just get some distance and perspective on what you do. So I'm a big fan of recess, and I'm a big fan of your idea of bringing recess to people's lives. I think that's a critical component, and I even see it, you know, my 8-year-old son, who it's a much different day in terms of the demands of school, and I think recess is as important, you know, is more important even now to kids growing up than when we were kids.
And you notice the days where they get recess and they don't get recess. You know, that like, oh, just go out and get a run in or something, get that energy all burned up. It's so important that you know, that happens. So, final question for you. I ask everyone to always make a pinky swear or commitment. We used to pinky swear on the playground. How are you going to commit to sort of incorporating more recess into your lives? I mean, I know the job is really, really demanding, but you still, like you said, have 2 wonderful boys at home and a beautiful wife, and you know, they can't play second to the job. So I know they're a priority for you. So how, in this new year, would you see kind of incorporating recess into your family a little bit more? Is there something you'd be willing to commit to?
Yes.
Good answer.
I'm not quite sure what that is. I'll tell you one thing, though. I found that lately I've been trying to exercise more, another common resolution. And when I exercise, I often will bring work with me, and I'll do something while I'm riding an exercise bike or on a treadmill or something. And I don't think that's what recess is all about.
No.
You know? It's just multitasking.
Right.
I think for me, it's one of the things I've been thinking about doing recently is, instead of being sort of dominated by my email on my iPhone, actually designating certain times of the day that I check email.
Yep.
So maybe it's 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, and I carve out a half an hour to respond to all those one-offs instead of having it be a constant interruption.
Absolutely.
That does not address at all your question about how to incorporate it into my family. But I think also turning my phone off a lot more at home. I think that's a big issue because it's addictive. It really is. And the first step in overcoming an addiction is admitting you have a problem.
That's right, exactly.
So I will admit I had a problem.
Okay, good. Welcome to the Recess 12-Step program, right? Exactly. I'll have to check back in with you. But have you read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week? Are you familiar?
No, but somebody just recommended that and said it was
that would
excellent.
be excellent for you, especially with that sort of grouping of the emails and stuff. Because amazingly, somehow people figure it out, even if we don't respond right away, and that's important too. So thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. Love your insight about recess, and wish you and your family lots of recess in the new year. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember, life is a playground. Go experience it.